is watching this program. Yeah. We are far away from ground zero. We are very, very far away from Florida, from this church. And yet, you know, as you said, we hope that we don't have to sit down here and talk about this, but here we are.
Sadly, we have to.
Sadly, we have to.
Ignatius?
I must say, this guy, Terry Jones, have done us all a big service. Why? Because it showed us how ridiculous his action is. We can study from his action. You shouldn't do these sort of things. You examine the whole issue unemotionally. I mean, many people sat up and said, what is happening? What's this guy up to? Even those people who did not like the mosque being built at ground zero, they would have sat up and said, look at it, this is blown out of proportion. So in that sense, the very ridiculous action. When you see something foolish happening, you always wake up. It's a wake-up call. You know, you shouldn't go that road. We shouldn't allow our children to follow that path. So in this way, he did inadvertently, not because he wanted to do us a service, it made sensible people realize, you know, this is not the thing to do. Yeah. So in that way, thank you, Mr. Jones.
But he did mention that the media kind of like blew out of proportion for this particular incident. Do you think the media is to be blamed here, this incident?
Yeah, I think partly they have to be blamed, you know, the media. You know, I mean, of course, the media cannot report anything if there's no players. You know, like Pastor Terry Jones, right? And I said, you know, before this Pastor Terry Jones announced his plan to burn the Quran in protest of the plan by this Islamic association community to build a mosque, not a mosque, community center, Islamic community center, 2 blocks away from ground zero, you know. And during that time, we watch in the news, we read in the papers, you know, in the media, you know, how this small group of politicians, you know, try to stop this American Muslim citizen from exercising their rights, their constitutional rights, you know. And I guess Pastor Terry Jones jumped into the bandwagon, you know, and with his plan. And of course, media see this another news story, to this whole episode, you know. So yes, the media
is partly to be blamed. But do you think he is an attention seeker in some sense?
I suppose he's a cheap publicity seeker. He wanted his name to be, he's a nobody, actually, you know, in the outbacks of some village in the United States. Nobody has ever heard of him. And he suddenly wanted to be a big hero, you know. Oh my God, what a hero. So we played, in a way, right into his hands by giving him the attention he was seeking. But there again, I must say, we are to be blamed in a way. If the Bible had been burned in somewhere in a Muslim country, would it have elicited this kind of attention? Hopefully not. So it should have been, oh, there's some crazy guy doing some crazy things, just dismiss him. And as you said, you know, the media, of course, I mean, maybe they were short of news. And ground zero was a big hot issue at the time. And this sort of a click related. And some reporter took a clip on that and blew it up. Yeah. And we fell for it too.
This little incident, Ignatius, also highlighted another quite a heartwarming fact that which is the United States government is really keen on integrating the population, harmonizing people with different religion and faith, and help to create an environment where everyone can coexist, and I must say, happily as one big family. Otherwise, why take the pain to build an Islamic center in such a historical place like in New York, in Ground Zero? Do you agree with that?
United States was grievously wounded by the 9/11 incident. So what happened was, of course, the United States declared war on an innocent nation like Iraq, which was a mistake. But now I think the United States have realized they were going down the wrong path. So instead of inflaming the situation against the Muslim people in the world and in the United States, they offer a sign of peace and love. You know, this is the matter of turning the other cheek. So it's a matter of you know, loving your enemy in a way, so-called enemy. Some people view the people of another religion as an enemy. Even the Christians, you know, the Catholics view the Protestants or Presbyterians as a kind of an enemy, something like. So instead of, you know, going and fighting with them, you offer love and peace. So this was an example. Okay, you have cut off our head,
knock our heads.
Knock our head, but instead of knocking you back, we offer you a place for you to build a mosque or community center or whatever it is, a religious center. So this, many people in the United States could not take it, could not understand it. Even though many of them are Christians, they did not get the Christian spirit into them.
But the thing is, you see, both the Muslims and the Christians and all other religions, they are all trying to preach love and peace in this community. But why is this still happening in this world? Maybe Malai will want to touch this first.
What is happening in this world?
Why is this still an incident, religious anger that's still incurring?
Because people don't understand what is religion. Religion is there to promote peace and love and understanding among each other. But unfortunately,
this particular person triggered the whole thing again.
They hijacked religion, and they start fighting. I mean, the Hindus fight against the Muslims, and Hindus.
It's very interesting because I've got here research by Pew. I show you. You know, it's very recent. I think about a week ago. Okay, there's a recent survey conducted by US-based Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life. In the survey, which aimed at to test the broad range of religious knowledge, including understanding of the Bible, core teachings of different faiths, and major figures in religious history. And according to the survey, though US is one of the most religious country in the developed world, especially compared to largely secular Western Europe, most Americans, they still know relatively little about religion. And in the survey, they question, they survey, in the question, they engage these atheists, agnostic Jews, and Mormons. And those groups outperform the Protestant and Roman Catholics. This is very interesting, And, they outperform the Protestant and Roman Catholics in answering questions about major religions, while many respondents could not correctly give the most basic tenets of their own belief. And, what more about Islam? So, this is nothing to do with religion. It's all political.
It's also political. It's also fear. Once you start fearing other people, then you do all the bad things.
Okay.
Most of the the unsavory things in the world are done because of fear. I fear him, so
Well, we talk about politics and fear, but we're going to talk about what could have happened if had this plan been carried out. But before that, we're going to go for a short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us on Review. This is RTV. Welcome back to the show. This is Review. We're talking about the Holy Quran burning saga, which had a little idea that happened with, by a pastor in Florida in the United States. Now, tonight we are reviewing one of the biggest headlines around the world. And for those who have just joined us in this program, we're not really focusing on the reason behind this incident or we're going to talk not much about the religious matter, but all the person has initiated this, but its impact. Had this particular incident had really taken place, what would really happen and what would really turn out? Ignatius.
I think the world would have gone on. He would have created a lot of smoke, some ash, and people would have just gone on. Maybe some fanatics will fight another group of fanatics. Maybe there will be some bombs be thrown. That's all. I mean, what good would it have done? It would have done nothing to anybody. No good. So why go? You know, it's a good thing, as I said. This madman tried to do this. So we are shown how mad people can be. Yeah, just look at him, ridiculous little pastor. You know, doing this sort of thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean. You look up and say, hey, wait a minute, what the hell? What is this? What's going on? You know, it's, in a way, I mean, when people become stupid, when people behave in a stupid way, he tells us, don't behave that way. Yeah, teach us a lesson. If you know clearly, I mean, many reasonable people looking at him would have scratched their head. This guy is gone nuts.
I think not only you, but I think almost everybody had that same idea, scratching their heads. Why is this, you know, even being brought up for that matter? And why? How about your opinion on this?
Yeah, what would happen, you know, if he
really went ahead with it?
Went ahead with it. I mean, even before he went ahead with it, you can see, you know, this condemnation after condemnation pouring from all over the world, you know. In Pakistan, in other parts of the world, you know, you can see the Muslim followers go down the street to protest, you know. I mean, every time this thing happens, another American flag will be burned. Another, what's that, effigy of the president, whatever, being, all these things. You know?
It would have created a lot of ill will and maybe violence. That's all. It's empty violence. Ill will just pass like a wind. Next day there will be something else.
So I mean, he hasn't carried out the plan yet. You know, he just announced. But then you can see how the reaction. You know, but for me, you know, I mean, as I said earlier, this tests our wisdom, how we deal with this thing. You know, I mean, of course, it's pointless to burn another Bible, to burn the American flag, or to go down the street and protest, violent protest. It's pointless.
Or kill some other innocent person.
Because it will damage further the reputation of Islam, and you know, it's bad reflection for the Muslim community. You know.
Now I'm going to ask the both of you this question. Maybe Malai Wijaya start first. Are you happy with the reaction by the U.S. government over this incident?
Well, I mean, we heard President Obama himself condemned the act, but though after that he retracted about this, you know, this plan to build the mosque. You know, he has no objection to it. But then after that, after some pressures, he said, you know, he on principle have no problem, you know, building the mosque, but maybe you need to look into the location because it's too sensitive or whatever. Anyway, I mean, we are pleased to hear, you know, the strong statement come from U.S., strong statement come from OIC, UN, but then yet we have to see some action. You know, like what OIC is doing is
but what kind of action do you expect?
Put forward this, you know, to criminalize this hate.
Usually, people are very sensible. It's only a few other like-minded people like the pastor They wanted to create problems. They will organize demonstration. But the ordinary people just carry on with their lives. But some people, Pastor Jones will have his counterpart in the other group. So these two, imbeciles, start creating nonsense. That guy want to be a leader, maybe, or they want to be. You think so? You have a cheap demagogue rising up, but people normally are sensible. They know what sort of guy he is. He's just a nobody there.
But why does this kind of incidents always happen in the United States, from the United States for that matter?
Because there are idiots like us, the newsmen, who's always looking for
news
headlines and news.
But why is it the U.S. that's always the cause of all these things, and is it the news comes from the United States?
Because they have the most powerful media in the world. U.S. media is fantastic. I mean, everybody listens to CNN or whatever it is. So they generate. They got a big entertainment industry. Their new news is thing, and let's face it, in many ways, U.S. is the center of the world now.
But perhaps they should integrate their people better, I think. Like other countries, like in Brunei for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, they do their job, but you must remember, United States is a democracy. You cannot frog march people like in a communist country or fascist country. So people are left to figure out for themselves what is good and what is bad. So you cannot force people. You cannot pressure cook them. But having said that, they are being pressure cooked all the time by the news media.
That's the problem, I mean, they are so confused with freedom of speech and freedom to insult.
Well, you can insult. You can insult, but you must be big enough to take the insult. That's where the democracy comes in.
So I believe that you can practice freedom of speech, or freedom of expression, but it doesn't mean that you have the freedom to insult people, to defame or to demonize.
Yeah, but there are laws in the United States. If you insult or you defame, you can drag this guy to court, and he can be fined, and you can also extract a lot of money out of this guy. So there are checks and balances. All right, you insult me, I sue you. Americans would sue anybody at the drop of a hat.
Now, maybe you're not. We're all not happy with the government's reaction to this situation. But are you happy with the reaction from the rest of the world, the people of the world?
I think the people of the world have reacted very, very sensibly. I think they realize that what sort of guy he is. He's just a attention seeker, small-time priest, or whatever it is. So people really, but if somebody else of some standing had done this, then people would have been pretty serious. If one of the political party leaders or one of the leaders did it, but this guy is not. I mean, people are not stupid.
But I must say, the U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, she strongly condemned the situation.
Of course she did.
You think that it's pretty wise for her to say that?
Of course she had to. I mean, any decent person, any sane person, any reasonable person would react the same way. They wouldn't go down to Florida and pat the guy on his back. Well done, Jones. Do it again. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that.
But this could trigger a lot of uproar from around the world. But do you think there should be consequences for triggering this particular matter?
No, I don't think so, because he would suffer the consequences, because he would be elevated to world status. Then he is let down like a ton of bricks. He would feel it, He'd come back to his hole, in Florida.
But he's not going to stop. I mean, these things are not going to stop there.
That's freedom of freedom of speech.
Continue with other things.
Yeah, there's freedom of speech. There's freedom of speech. You should allow this sort of thing. Then people would know how foolish this guy is. You know, don't shut people up. Let them speak. Let them do whatever they like, within reason. Then people will realize, you know, what is right and what is wrong. But if you try to, you know, sort of hem people in, like in the communist country, that's bad. Then you won't be able to think.
I understand, like Brunei, back home here in Brunei, we have a certain code, or penal code for that matter. Would you like to enlighten us about this?
Yeah. In Brunei, we have this Acts and Codes, Chapter 15. I've got it here. You know, I read to you. You know, this Chapter 15, 295, injuring or defiling place of worship with intent to insult the religion of any class, and 296, disturbing religious assembly, not necessarily Islam, but other religion, trespassing on burial places, interference with grave or human remains, uttering words, etc., with deliberate intent to wound religious feeling. These acts being enacted to control activities and behaviors characterized as misconduct and antisocial or low moral nature. And you know, this is good. You know, we are guided by that law, and also, you know, we are guided by our faith in the values of Islam.
But do you think that the U.S. this is our own particular acts and laws? But do you think the U.S. should implement this in the Constitution?
I think they
have code of behavior, but they leave it to the individual to you know, to interpret and behave themselves. If they don't, then they, of course, they suffer the consequences.
I live in the oil town of Syria. Okay, next to my house is a big mosque. Around the area, we have 5 churches. You know, just not even a kilometer away. Just around that area. So we coexist with other community of different faiths. You know, so I'm not sure. I mean, Brunei is a good example. You know, where we the religious tolerance quite good. You know, I mean, I cannot imagine what happened to other countries. You know, probably like you know, like I think the world is changing. You know, there's so much fear, there's so much mistrust.
It's a matter of misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story about this.
I think in another part maybe, we fail to educate the community. You know, so I think this the education part there. You know, propagation to instill this understanding, to you know, to instill this mutual respect.
It's a matter of understanding. Once you understand each other, then it'll be okay. The priest took the trouble to translate the Islamic prayers.
In a sense, he's trying to learn into other people's religion, in a sense, what actually they're doing.
Yeah, he had choice either to go crazy or
so yeah, if you care to understand, if you care to learn about each other, then I think we don't have problem.
Yep. Harmony
same
will be
like
there.
this Quran burning incident. If they care only